matchup. BBQ Olivers. Kingzone DragonX. Hongdu Monsters. KSV. Beginning of the end. 2018 League of Legends Champions Korea Spring Split.
Good evening, LCK fans. Welcome back to another day of League of Legends action. I am Achilles. That's Papa Smithy. It's time to dive in. Get a nice game here to start things off on the day to round out the first round robin here as we get ready to go into the second half. Just one match later, it's going to be Kingzone DragonX kicking off against BBQ Olivers. A bit of an upward battle, you'd have to say, for the least, for BBQ.
I mean, big favorites, right? Kingzone DragonX. But last time we saw them before the break, we had that thinking match. You remember the match against IgNar, 39-minute first blood, perhaps the longest in competitive play. Don't know if that's ever been ratified, but feels like it. Do they come in here and just blitz the competition? Because we've already had kind of a little bit of a weird start here to patch 8.3. New stuff is good. Talia and Skarner yesterday, one of the big highlights being brought out by IgNar Greenwing. So I feel like there's a lot to be unearthed still about patch 8.3. We feel like we know who the best team in the LCK is, and Kingzone are right up there, but we saw FLICKR stumble. There's been a break. How much practice was done? Where are they at? That's still a question we have to check in on. Right now, we don't rule anyone out of the LCK at the top or at the bottom. I'm just hyped to see Kingzone again.
Yeah, it's always good to see these guys. Unfortunately, they are going to be the first match, which means that we could have another one of those pesky, massive delays in between the matches, but you never know, like you said. There is that opportunity with that vacation coming through for the Lunar New Year that BBQ might have been able to get the practice in, and maybe Kingzone is slacking off a little bit. So maybe BBQ can get a win in against the run of play as expected. But we can see here on the rankings, Kingzone sitting at the top here with a plus 12 scoreline. 7 wins, 1 loss. That was their first match versus KSV, who have since slumped quite a bit now, falling down to about that 4th place spot.
Yeah, we have stories to tell about KSV, but that's for the second series of the night. We should also talk about BBQ Olivers, who, after a promising start, they were 2-2 after 4 matches. 4 match losses in a row, trying to condemn their season. It felt like hope rung anew with their EULCS imports, Trick and IgNar coming into the lineup. Trick hasn't been playing. They haven't been finding success either way. Bono had a great start, and then predictably for a rookie, suffering that rookie-itis. So let's see who they actually want to run today when it comes to BBQ Olivers. I'm going to introduce them first, and I actually got a bit of a spoiler here. I saw Trick. He seemed hyped to be playing again. So finally, the double EULCS MVP, 4-time EULCS champion Trick will come back into the line.
You could have baited the audience so hard if it was Bono right there. It would have been excellent. But yes, Trick will be re-debuting here on BBQ Olivers. Bono going to be waiting on the bench in case his services are needed. We saw him start off around the time, actually it was the first game versus KSV is when we had Bono debut. Picked up a win in that game. They went on to lose the series. And since then has only picked up 1 other game win versus SK Telecom. Bono otherwise just has not been working out. And after their 0-2 loss to MVP, BBQ has decided, okay, it's time to swap things up again. Let's go ahead and put Trick back onto the starting roster and see if we can find some more success.
I mean, there's no real way to crash down to earth more than losing 2-0 to MVP. So this was the time for change. We'll see if his 3-week break is giving him some chance to ramp up the champion pool. Kingzone against a bottom team, you might think it was time to break out Rascal. If you're a Rascal fan, bad news, he's not playing. Khan is here, the Khan champs will reign supreme. Khan, Peanut, BDD, Prey, and Gorilla. These are your champions elect as we go into the last match of the first round robin. They will finish the first round robin first after a FLICKR lost. But can they finish it with the speed run intact? Because even though they suffered a loss, they may be the only team in LCK history to end a round robin in 18 games. They may have the EU imports on the BBQ side, but you have to say that Longzhu, or now Of course, KingZone DragonX, they're all about the best of two. They only ever played 2 games.
Yeah, not going to be looking for that third game at all. It's either going to be lose 0-2 for KingZone or win 2-0. Something tells me they're going to be leaning towards the latter in this circumstance here. As you can see, outside of that one loss versus KSV at the very beginning of the season, it's been nothing but smooth sailing from there. No one standing in their way. And seemingly no one able to even come close. KT Rolster, we were thinking was going to be the next best bet to maybe take down KingZone, maybe put a blemish on their record, take them to a third game at the very least. But even they were slain fairly easily by the Dragons.
And then you get to reframe to the KingZone side, because usually you want to build up a contender. Right now we just want to see how long can this win streak go, starting off with a 2-0 loss and then winning 14 games in a row. They have their own scale of excellence, as you can see by the fact that they really dwarf both the standard graph and the graph that comes through from BBQ. They're eating people left, right, and center. They are the Zac team. There's blobs everywhere of KDA. Ironically, they have the highest KDA in 4 roles. The only player who is not first in their role in KDA is Prey, and Peanut has been on a tear. His Zac last time out, it was deadly.
Yeah, absolutely devastating. Peanut really has stepped up even further. I mean, we have already touted him as being one of the best junglers in the world, but now he is even just pushing past his own limitations. It would seem here in the 2018 season, a bit of a Goku syndrome, I guess. He just keeps getting stronger as time goes on. Who can stop him?
But usually when they're powering up, there's not as much interaction, but they're powering up and smashing people left, right, and center. They're powering up in front of our eyes.
There's no filler content when KingZone is on the rift.
Maybe LCK Spring is a filler season for KingZone. They're so strong. In every role, you look at the enemy and you think what to be. Is a lot of respect being shown by BD, who has a sick new haircut going on as well.
Trying to match
a Peanut.
Oh, that's a lovely. Somebody please.
He's trying to get his BDD Buddha reference on there. OGN, of course, bringing that out the summer finals. Tempt has been a shining light for the opposition, but I like how all the players started to embrace these head-to-head live video footage.
I really want a screenshot of that. Tweet it at me, so please send me that so I can save it, because it's a wonderful face that BDD made there. But yeah, just try to synergize his hair alongside Peanuts.
Hey, people wanted to get a closer look at BDD, gave them there.
He is just hamming it up right now. This is the most interaction I've seen from BDD in a while.
We've had some great... That's from BDD, certainly. We did, of course, have and friends.
Oh, yeah.
Having a great time, and it seems like people think the KingZone's going to beat BBQ.
I think we've caught on now that KingZone is pretty damn good at League of Legends. Maybe it was the almost double pentakill by Khan that really swayed the vote, but yeah, 8% for BBQ is not a lot of confidence instilled by the viewers.
This is definitely one where they would have had to wheel out the free chicken to get the BBQ votes here.
You only get free chicken if you can show us your vote on the poll and confirm that you voted for BBQ.
Well, only 193 people who all could be, of course, in attendance today. We do have a capacity of around 600 to 800 here, depending on the configuration. KingZone DragonX, predictably, all smiles, but we've already seen FLICKR come off a holiday hangover. So let's see if KingZone DragonX can ready the ship, go 16-0, and try to book that date with Destiny against FLICKR Freaks later this week.
Well, already can see the homework has been done by both teams. The Rise, of course, away from BDD, and Alistar banned away from IgNar. It's a must ban, as much as we want to see him play it, but his secret agent tactics with that Alistar are just a bit too strong to deal with.
I went into IgNar's solo queue, and it seems like he's dealing with it the only way he knows how, playing jungle. He's had enough support. He doesn't get to play Alistar in competitive play, so taking out his frustrations in a new role. We'll see if he can find a new playmaker. Still hasn't played the Leona this season. Of course, it is a riskier pick, especially in the LCK, but definitely an IgNar special. Seeing the Talia ban, BDD, famous for the Talia, and also playing it extensively in solo queue. We might see 3 mid lane bans, and BBQ taking the highest priority mid laner available at first pick.
Peanut might be pretty happy with that, though, if he gets his pick of the litter as far as the junglers are concerned. BDD, though, as great as he is, might have been taking notes just yesterday, seeing that Talia play from Grace. Absolutely beautiful stuff from him, and you're right, it's going to be 3 mid lane bans, the Galio to follow up.
So does KingZone ban Zoe? Because this is setting up for a first pick Zoe for Tempt, who's looked very good on the champion. So it feels like Zoe is going to be banned by KingZone, and then Ezreal might just be taken away by Ghost in the go-to, the KingZone wherever available. I'd love to see Zoe left up because I want to know what BDD has if it's not to be the Talia or Galio or Ryze. And they're going to leave up Zoe. Kingzone are playing with fire and also banning the Blitzcrank. IgNar just never gets to have fun, but Tempt should be having a whale of a time.
All right, yep, so Blitzcrank banned away. We did see IgNar bring that out while Madlife himself was casting over on the Korean stream.
But this is hype because they know exactly what's going on. And they say, sure, take the Zoe. Will we see the Kassadin that FLICKR has been playing against Zoe? Will we see something new, or will we see an old favorite from BDD? Over in the NALCS, there's plenty of Orianna. So maybe you just try to grin and bear through the lane phase. Victor, Azir is up.
Okay.
They're going to take the skill matchup. Okay, so Azir, if you're a skilled player, and we certainly know that BDD's Azir is right up there, can be opted into, especially with jungle attention. You can get your snowball on, and Kingzone are all about the snowball.
Yep, you can jump up into the face of that Zoe. Make her much less effective. Kalista now being played around with here for Ghost. A fairly standard pickup for him. Try to go into the Ezreal, and they will go ahead and lock that up.
Yeah, of course, on patch 8.3, guys, I know everyone's excited about the patch 8.4 that has gone on the live servers today, but no new AP items. Only new thing is, of course, Swain is enabled this week and all the other changes that we've described a couple of times, but going to be a little while till we get 8.4 in Korea.
Have not seen the Sejuani yet. Still will fall through the draft as Skarner is going to be heavier priority here for Trick. First game back, going to be going for the Skarner. Against Peanut, that's a little bit bold, I will say.
Peanut could look to go aggressive. We saw Nidalee against Skarner yesterday, and Peanut's Nidalee needs no introduction. Could hold on to the jungle pick for now. That means they'll get some coverage bans against Peanut to his comfort, but he could always go to Zac. He already showed us he can play the standard very well, and you don't often see Azir, Ezreal, and Gangplank put together, but BBQ say they know what they want. Do they want to deal with how much scaling damage there is on the side of Kingzone?
I don't think they want to deal with Kingzone in pretty much any capacity, but have to have the match played. Vladimir going to be the first ban out in the second half here by Kingzone.
It's a greedy draft, though. You know, Azir scaling mid laner, Gangplank super scaling top laner. Does mean that Kingzone are more likely than not to play a longer game. The IgNar series was the big head scratcher for them, where we had very, very comically long game one with no interaction. And when you have Azir and Gangplank, you are kind of priced in to take a chill pill and get to the late game. Of course, an aggressive jungler might change that, so I'm hoping that we see Peanut jump on something like the Nidalee, and so far no jungle bans for BBQ.
Yeah, and even with a lot of people preferring actually to take the GP into the NAR matchup, we'll still see it banned away here by Kingzone.
It's been about Crazy's champion pool. It's been 8 games of NAR, 5 games of GP, and then Vlad, so now he has to find something new into the Gangplank. Don't really want to go for a tanky choice, but it could just be the Sion and hoping to play the mid game very aggressively. Outside chance we see that from Crazy. The Kingzone looking for jungle and support. Could just take support here if they wanted to hide a riskier jungle pick, but the Nidalee also is available if they want it. Scratch that, it's going to go standard. It's not going to be someone to get in the face of Skarner. They say, okay, we have scaling. If our lanes do get pushed in, then we're worried about the Nidalee being collapsed on first. So they're going to go with Sejuani. So teamfight dream from the side of Kingzone, whereas Crazy going to live up to his name, considering going Fiora into Kingzone. But Sion, I mentioned, seems more likely.
Yeah, Sion, much more standard these days, can survive the damage coming through from the GP, but actually it's going to be a flip over to the Ornn. Could be a flex into the support role.
Yeah, we get some
we'll
real
see what
big
this final one's going to be.
tanky brothers locked in here. They could go for the Ornn and the Sion. They're going to take the extra time to consider their options. Most of the playmakers taken away, as IgNar has found a way to yield one of them. But they consider something crazy here against Kingzone, try to put them on the back foot with a new pick. Waiting for the final seconds. And they're going to go for the Thresh. Okay, so playmaking coming through from IgNar. A lot of Thresh in his solo queue. A big famous pick for him, of course. Played against SK Telecom T1. Action over to the side of Kingzone. Many different ways you can go with this, showing some of the famous picks of IgNar. Would Gorilla actually lock it in, though? Would he consider the Leona here? You're thinking no. It might just be teamfight only for Kingzone DragonX. They lock in the Taric.
And this is hell of a team fight that they have here. You have the tanky frontline in the Taric and the Sejuani. Cosmic Radiance to help keep everybody alive, and the engage potential from the Dazzle and the Sedge ultimate. So plenty of ways to pick people off. Can even rely on BDD to go in for a Shurima shuffle if they need to make something big happen.
Eyes on mid lane jungle. Mid lane jungle was something we criticized Trick for. I felt like his synergy with Tempt wasn't there, and Bono had a head start on that. And Peanut and BDD have only been warming up. They started the season slow, but have been on the same page. Now even have the same haircut to complement it as they roll into this series. So we'll see what can happen in the mid. If Zoe gets free time to rain down harass on the Azir, it can be good news. But this is BDD's Azir. This is Kingzone DragonX. They've gone for a lot of scaling. They don't necessarily have the most power in the early game, but does it matter? That's what we will find out.
Something tells me they'll be able to figure out something for the early game. Get that ball rolling rather swiftly. We know how disgusting Prey can be on this Ezreal, throwing a team on his back if necessary. But fairly standard up top. Khan does get his hands on the GP, which is always interesting to see, but going up into the Ornn here for Crazy.
And a big reach.
It's probably going to be a pretty standard match.
Big reach on the Skarner, though. This was Skarner first round by BBQ, desperately wanting it. Not with the Talius, not with as much permanent terrain created, but they want to put down some trouble bubbles, poke in, get the ultimate preferably onto the Ezreal, but QSSs will answer that and get that first pick and win a team fight. Seems difficult with how much team fight power there is for Kingzone.
Yeah, there's plenty to choose from, but the Skarner was the first and foremost pick here by Trick. Let's see if he can make it work. See if Peanut is going to go aggressive into that enemy jungle, trying to shut him down as we load up for game number 1. BBQ Olivers versus Kingzone DragonX. Not much of a surprise to hear that the majority of the audience are going to be Kingzone fans.
Bit of a surprise to see the ancient coin start on the Thresh. Definitely not one you see too often. Not going to be a Relic Shield from the AD carry. We've seen a couple of Relic Shield AD carries. Deft was the first, so one yesterday as well. Trying to get the faster gold generation onto their support. Bit of siding here. No Scion for a gimmicky level 1 gank in the lane either. But like you say, the fans are an IgNar fan on the right. The Prey fans, they're always around.
Around the world. Most valuable Prey. Let's see, it's been not great for BBQ.
A red side start for Peanut, so leaving open options to go for a early jungle contest. See what actually comes from that. Like I mentioned, KDA's first in role for every player except Prey. It's actually behind 2 players, behind both Bang and Kramer, I believe, who have higher KDAs than him right now, but he hasn't needed to be a superstar or a KDA player. He's just been fulfilling his role, playing Ezreal every time. 8-0 Ezreal on the season, so no surprises there. Always been one of the legendary God Ezreal players, worldwide and certainly in Korea.
If you could pop off here in the series, perhaps you could exceed Bang and Kramer's KDAs. Kramer was leading all of the ADCs, but after their loss just yesterday, he has fallen down a bit.
Level 1 advantage goes to Ezreal. Just cues the minion wave the moment that he stops leashing and can start the push with the early attack speed and effectively an auto cancel on the Mystic Shot when it comes to pushing a lane. Happy times so far bot side. No contest from the Sejuani. Just seems to want to go for a power full clear here. This Peanut. Peanut's bringing back an old build. It is going to be the fleet footwork on the Sejuani.
Yeah.
Been a lot more Aftershock recently. And Trick also taking the new score. This is the Korean solo queue special. The Predator Skarner that was looking pretty damn deadly yesterday, we have to say.
Got some work done. So Trick hoping to have similar success here.
But which build will he go? Will he go with his LCS brethren and go Emax? Or will it be the Korean special of the QMax? We'll now finally know his true allegiance. Is it to Europe or is it to Korea?
I don't know if we find that out unless he makes it to Worlds.
Looking like a long shot right now, it should be said.
Starts throwing games. Nice paddle star there on the BDD. Chunks him down about half HP.
He's going Q. Korean through and through.
Perfectly matched right now there in the mid lane. It's going toe to toe as far as the CS is concerned.
Kingzone played with fire. Very clear from BBQ's 3 bans. They were all champions that lane well into the Zoe. That a first pick Zoe was going to come, and BDD just said, sure, bring all the bad guys. I'll take you down. He's got his new blonde hair, so he's feeling really good about that.
Turns out Prey's really good at Ezreal, as we were mentioning a bit earlier. 100% win rate so far in 2018.
7.9 is his overall KDA. A couple of players above 8. He needs to catch up to if he wants to be also first in role. Not with an early visit top side.
He's wrapping around crazy, takes a bit of damage, slows down the ward, and will spot him. Doesn't flash away from the Sejuani. Will get the stun up, but can they finish him? The answer is going to be no, so we'll just go ahead and get the flash away. In the meantime, Tricks visiting into the bottom lane. The Dazzle is not going to connect, and now Gorilla a bit too far forward, has to flash away. Hook comes through, however, draws him back in, and he is going to go down the Ren. Getting ready to hit. First blood goes over to Ghost.
And BBQ played that great trick at IgNar, showing the expected synergy. Holding on to the hook as long as possible was IgNar. Death sentence registers. There's the first kill to BBQ. Nice mechanics topside to interrupt the searing charge by Peanut, but nowhere near the same follow-up damage as a bot lane gank. Hook was about half a Teemo short of hitting Prey, who still has his summoners up. Knew that heal would not help his life partner Gorilla from getting out of that lane.
That's a good way to put it. Life partner indeed. Redemption going to be used there in the mid lane. Tempt just trying to clear out this wave. But a nice start here for the Kalista. Going to be coming back in the lane with a long sword, and the Berserker Greaves already completed.
Pull one out for the Tracker's Knives. They will be gone when patch 8.4 hits.
Yep.
Lee Sin especially is like, wait, what? But I think everything else will be very interesting. There's going to be a lot less vision on the map, or there's going to be a lot less sweeping lenses, and that can also be interesting. As now Trick's mid lane.
Doesn't have the Impale yet, still level 5, so BDD not feeling too threatened. Walks into the trouble bubble there, but keeps himself nice and safe.
Plenty of lane control for Tempt. BDD, I wonder how early he'll go into a QSS. If he doesn't choose to go into one, he won't have lane priority. Gorilla's laning with no summoners in the bot side, so we'll find it hard to overextend freely. Kingzone's ability to control the waves and push out when they know that their jungler is a couple of camps away from coming bottom or not. One of their strengths as a team, so see how much latitude Peanut has to impact the map.
Now is still just farming up. Had the one gank up to the top side, but otherwise hasn't been able to get anything
the
done.
sweeper misses. That's actually really consequential.
Yeah, does not find the ward.
Does confirm, of course, for a while now what side of the jungle Trick is on, and also that the level 6 is being hit. There was a second ward there, so wouldn't have been complete darkness, but so close. A lot of 100 Teemo, a lot of single Teemo misses on abilities so far today. And to look forward to Boots 2 already from Kalista. Gives her, of course, so much extra with how the hop speed and distance does scale with Boots and attack speed as well. Chance to look over at the Keystones. We mentioned a couple of them already. Still going to be the key, interesting one to talk about, surprisingly to a lot of people, will be the fact that we're still seeing the Kleptomancy on the Ezreal. In solo queue, I've seen a lot of players actually go for fleet footwork. For example, it was Bang in solo queue last night was going fleet footwork Ezreal after the latest nerfs, but Prey's going to stay with the tried and true, stick with the gold generation potential of the Kleptomancy Ezreal.
Just trying to be a little bit more like Khan, I guess.
Always a good thing.
Of course, the Kleptomancy nerf's not really affecting the GP too much. He's still making bank up there. That combined with the parlay.
Anyone who has a ranged ability that counts as melee feels pretty good. In most metas, with all the itemization options that opens up.
Very aggressive invade here. Peanut's going to throw down the control ward. Might just be a smite war between these two.
Investing a lot of people. They rotated first, but not the full commit from Drake. He starts to pull back.
BDD's coming around the side. Takes a nice chunk there from the paddle stars. They try to hand this off. BDD will be able to claim the blue buff. So all in all, not that bad of an invade here for BBQ, but don't really walk away with much. Trick is now down into the bottom lane. Is level 6. Has the Impale ready to go. Flashes are up for both Prey and Gorilla. He's going to jump away. The Dazzle not going to connect. But they just can't get him, but actually now the hook comes down. And a Mirage is thrown in. The box comes through. They try to keep Gorilla alive, but he's still going to fall first. But not before that Dazzle goes off. Trick Gets the shield, tries to stay alive to play away, and Peanut can't follow up, and now he might go down. The Ren stacks just adding up here for Ghost, pulls him out, and will kill the Sejuani. 2-0 there in favor of BBQ. Now Crazy trying to go aggressive on Khan in the top lane. He's gonna get knocked to the side. A couple more hits would finish him out. The charge comes through the heel, comes down from Khan to try to stay in the fight, but he cannot get the kill.
He's gonna live, but Kingzone got baited by the low health bar on Trick. Peanut really wanted it, gave up a kill. Uncharacteristic, but we've already seen one of our challengers elect go down this week. The holiday ends, and suddenly, BBQ, with a new reinvigorated Trick, are making the right moves in the early game and find the first 3 kills of the game.
Dazzle not connecting onto the Skarner, the hook landing yet again from IgNar.
And remember, it's BBQ that has by far the strongest early to mid comp here. They have the earliest scalings in basically every lane. This starts off with the ult invested onto Gorilla just to kill him. From there, Trick falls so low and Peanut full health thinks surely this is the time. IgNar, who hit the first death sentence, had the flay back up. They get the extra kill, a bonus with Peanut being just a bit too greedy. Solo Q-esque there and trying to get the 1-for-1. Was always probably going to condemn himself to death, and as it stands, 1,000 gold lead to BBQ.
Very nice start here for these guys. Let's see Khan feeling the pressure, goes for the Hex Drinker, then the Sheen.
Delaying the build.
Delay.
No cull, but still going to be just fine from Khan, who did not die, and noticeably did not use his summoner either, so in a good spot to keep in the lane. Remember that Skarner ult was changed many moons ago, so you can flash away from it. It doesn't arm, doesn't have the pullback mechanic that trolled everyone way back in Season 2 and 3. But he's also super fast, doesn't have boots too, but we all know about the Predator now. Not something to be trifled with.
Doesn't seem like Skarner's been around that long. I guess it's because of the additions to the Spires, you know, somewhat recently.
I mean,
that makes him feel like a bit of a new champion.
You say that, but you can kind of turn it around and say that the most noted Skarner player of all time is LCK caster Cloud Templar.
That is true.
Who has been retired for 3 years,
Yep.
4 years almost at this point. So it's funny how, I agree, the champions in the rearview mirror seem both new and old at the same time.
Sometimes those reworks just mess with your timeline in your head.
Yep.
You're not going to be looking for a sneaky gank here. Does push forward. Ward spotted out in the next brush.
I'm not sure how sneaky,
and
but
there you go.
It's going to be a bit of scouting by IgNar. That will mean that Sejuani will leave the bot lane. Still, no good news stories. There's a lot of harass. The base damage on the Ornn hasn't been targeted yet. It's targeted in patch 8.4. Of course, it had plenty of other nerfs, but happy news to see that with the damage still there, Khan is struggling in the early lane phase. You don't often see a Hex Drinker laning against, of all people, an Ornn.
BDD now waiting in the wings. Does have vision on this Rift Herald. Would love to get the steal. Will try to fire away, but can't get it. Just get picked up. So Trick ready to lay that down and maybe try to get that first brick.
So bizarre that Kingzone have really changed their draft priority, and it's changed their games. You know, we were sitting there trying to make sense of the Kingzone versus IgNar game, where it seemed like scaling, where they weren't looking for any early aggression, where they weren't looking for counter pick for Khan, who's been beating bot lanes. Bot lane, speaking of.
And again, hook gonna land there onto Gorilla. Cosmic Radiance gonna come down. They get the Dazzle connection in onto IgNar, but still, Prey is just too low to try to aggress any further. It's a little bit of damage there onto Ghost right at the end. Try to equalize the trade, but overall, you can see Prey and Gorilla are having the fight brought to them by IgNar and Ghost consistently. Redemption toss into the bot. Hook gonna go wide this time.
I went from comical to almost deadly there as IgNar almost turned on the fire again. Clearly paying himself into form on the Thresh. His only non-jungler he's playing with any regularity in solo queue.
See that trouble bubble come in. Oh, he actually just dashes straight into it. Hook gonna come down. Gorilla gonna body block that one into the flay. He won't take too much damage for it, and Peanut was waiting in the wings, so no wrap around from Trick or Tempt.
Yeah, no advanced vision for Kingzone on the bot side. A couple of normal wars, but the control wards lie with BBQ as they smack down the Rift Herald in mid lane. Probably not going to get too much with this one.
Turret still take a significant chunk.
But they just want the blue buff.
That'll
so actually
distract them long enough.
Exactly. It's a distraction to contest the blue buff. So they have different aspirations than you might have imagined.
Yeah, Peanut spots it out, but there's nothing he can do. And Tempt with a long-range paddle star is able to finish it off. So Decent distraction, but not going to be getting that first turret gold yet. Does whittle it down pretty considerably, however, though.
And again, we have to remember that Kingzone opted into scaling in basically every lane. It did not choose for lane control, outside of Ezreal being epically safe in the bot lane and winning the push war in the early levels. They could have done many different things. A more aggressive jungler, not necessarily going for leaving up the Zoe and taking the Azir, more of a skill matchup into it. They made options to allow themselves to play late game team fights, which, you know, you might have thought, okay, it's against BBQ, you can do whatever you want, but the level of the LCK is higher than ever. We keep saying it because we keep seeing upsets, and sometimes they feel like upsets, and sometimes it's just upsets in the inverted comma of the word, because there is so many great teams out here. So Kingzone cannot afford to look past any opponents. At the start of the week, they certainly would have been thinking about a FLICKR. Today, they're going to think about BBQ.
IgNar has been so accurate with these hooks. Now, flash forward there from Trick. Gets the Impale onto Prey. He'll try to jump away, but to no avail. He goes down. Trick finds the kill. 4-0 for BBQ so far. Just 15 minutes into this match, and now they're looking for the turn in bot.
And for once, a reaction cam of Prey, and he's not smiling because he realizes that in that case, he's caught. Doesn't matter if his flash was up. He would have died anyway if he'd invested in it. First turret goes to the team that has the more snowball comp, that is more powerful at early gold values in the early game. They continue to control the map. They're looking to set up for an Infernal Drake, and short of something inspirational, probably BDD and Kingzone have to give it up.
Gotta say, so far the accuracy here from IgNar, I think we've seen on camera maybe one miss on the hooks. All of the rest of them have been connecting typically onto Gorilla, and he has usually been the one going down. On the flip side there, him with the dazzles, they haven't really been coming through too much. He's been missing a lot, and he gets 2 different projectiles to try to connect them with.
Let's be fair, though. He is against Hopping Mad, Boots to Rush, Kalista, and the Thresh, so the kill potential is very low. But you're right in that this is a situation where you're actually empowering the Thresh. You're empowering IgNar because it's Kalista Thresh. It's a very safe lane between the two. Prey is going to go for the Iceborne Gauntlet, which again is going to delay a lot of damage, give him a bit of control. Down the bot lane.
In. Fate's Call. Let's get dragged out. They're looking for the hook here onto Prey. He goes over the wall. Call the Forge God comes in. Tempt tries to jump in. They get the pop-up with the ultimate. Does he have to burn the flash? Actually, the flash is already down. Cosmic Radiance does come through. Prey makes it over the wall with the Arcane Shift. Seems like he will go ahead and stay alive. Decent amount invested on both sides, but now TP down from the top lane here for Crazy.
Yeah, Kingzone doesn't control their bot lane blue side. It's being warded up. The whole river is lit up for the side of BBQ. So every time they try to rotate around that area, they're going to continue to take a lot of pain. Peanut finally realizes it. He's on the top side of the map, knows that top side is a lot more friendly. Only good news story for Kingzone is that Khan hasn't fallen down, and the entirety here is farming away, even with the slowed down build picking up a head.
He's got the Triforce, so he can go ahead and make work of this turret. Should be able to finish this one off, even with the smaller wave. As you can see, he will burn that down, but the control on the bottom side of the map, as you were talking about here for BBQ, could very likely lead to this Infernal Drake that has just spawned. Kingzone do get their first turn of the game. They keep things close. 1,500 just about gold separating the two. But otherwise, this is a perfect game basically for BBQ so far.
Now, in name, yes. And in execution by BBQ, yes. But we have to remember so much scaling for Kingzone as Khan is bot side.
And has TP'd down. Now it's going to be Kingzone taking priority over the Infernal Drake, at least back. Down below 2,000 HP, BBQ. See, Trick is just pushing forward. Ult comes down from the Sejuani. That's going to be a smite. Infernal Drake goes over to them now. Khan up in the front lines, gets chunked down to about half HP. Goes for the Ren stacks, can't quite kill him off. Kingzone's trying to get out of here with their lives, but Prey can't do it. Tempt gets the massive hit onto the Ezreal, and he just goes down, completely deleted.
This early in the game, for that to be effectively a one-shot was massive. Cleanse is blown on BDD as well. They may have taken the Inferno, they may have the scaling, but BBQ is doing as much as they can to keep their foot on the accelerator. As you can see from Tempt, he's fishing.
Yeah, actually investing his own flash there. They're trying to get that call. The Forge God does get the pop-up onto BDD, but it's really just enough to dissuade Kingzone to push them back so they can claim their second turret. So BBQ do advance forward with the gold and the map control, but they lose the Infernal.
Sejuani ult onto Skarner, they get it. That part is fine. They've gotten the objective. Their scaling is even stronger. But watch here, Trouble Bubble armed and a one-shot this early in. Just required that last little bolt to go through the air. It did actually bait the Kalista into flashing, so it got something, but already big damage potential coming out of Tempt, and you can point to the gold lead and say they have an Infernal, they're only behind 2,000, their scaling teamfight is insane, but you can also point to the fact that it's 8th placed BBQ against 1st placed 14-0 streak Kingzone, and BBQ are playing a lot better than we've seen recently, and Kingzone are making mistakes that while overall they have some scaling to fall back on, there are still those mistakes we have to remember, Achilles.
Well, we do have a pause coming through. We'll get word from Joel to see what the issue is, but seems like it might be originating in the Kingzone booth.
That is a cool Prey pastiche there, as we get the confirmation that Prey's audio is acting up. The Kingzone audio issue is back.
Audio issues been running rampant throughout the 2018 season.
What is it with the audio?
I think it has something to do with the program being used. His headphones are howling.
Oh no!
Apparently.
The howling abyss? That'd be bad.
The wolves are just constantly going off. The audio from the wolves dying is just repeating.
He's just
in his
listening, and
headset.
all we can hear is 0.25, 0.25.
Oh dear.
Here's a closer look at BDD's sick new colored hairstyle here, going very peanut-esque.
Trying to build that synergy. So far, we haven't seen much between the jungle and the mid.
Not so far this game, but
Jungle and bot for BBQ. That's been
in
popping
general,
off.
BBQ with Trick back in the game have been really in sync. Bringing Trick in. Remember, Trick and Tempt had little to no synergy when we saw them play together. It's one of the reasons they went with Bono. Now they've got a bit more going on, and Trick has been so active in the early game where unfortunately he was really failing back into kind of his passivity style, his farming style when he started the season.
Well, Prey avoiding the paddle stars this time as he tries to just farm up underneath the turret.
Usually when we see Kingzone play the previously 8-0 Ezreal, it was 2 items on Prey before they even hit a team fight, before they even hit a skirmish. He's still working towards the Mana Moon, let alone the Mirror Mana, at 20 minutes into the game. It's a very late 2-item core being completed by Prey.
Yeah, not sure how far off he is with the Tear of the Goddess. But here comes Trick around the back. BDD will go ahead and slide his way out of there smoothly.
Not far at all. He's actually got the Mirror Mana already.
Okay. It was literally like that True Shot Barrage cast, and then he was ready to go. It's okay. He's pretty much on pace now.
The items are slower. Does mean the items are starting to come together for Ghost. Game plan for BBQ to focus on the early game. In a great spot as well. They're up in turrets. They're only a Mountain Drake short of where they would want to be at this point in the game. Infernal Drake, I should say.
Oh.
And the poke from Tempt, it continues to register.
You know, I think about one of the most tilting things in the history of League of Legends, and it's the global Amumu laugh that we used to have.
Yep, I remember it.
Now it's like Zoe, because she basically has global spells with the range on them. It's just as tilting.
I can't disagree with you there. Got no counterpoint.
Oh. Trick says thank you very much. Go ahead and smite that one away.
Because of the Sejuani choice over something more aggressive, there's no real way for them to combat the mid lane, going freely the way of BBQ. We never got to see BDD get the jungle attention. You kind of need to make the Azir matchup into Zoe work, and now the threat of Skarner at every moment with no QSSs yet complete. The map control that BBQ already had. Kingzone, particularly Peanut, will have to give up camps, just trying to fight for zones of control on the map where they don't have the threat of Skarner coming in and pulling them into Tempt at any moment. So that's what they really need to do now for Kingzone. The next back will be a lot of control wards, and there's finding safe spots in the map, preferably as close to Baron as possible.
It's been a couple minutes now without the action, which is bad for BBQ. We want to keep pushing the pace of this game, make it faster and faster. Just kind of allows more time for Kingzone to reliably scale up with this Azir and this GP.
Some of the gold
you
numbers.
See, Khan is massively ahead of Crazy.
I mean, whenever you're 8 CS ahead, we know how that works with Gangplank.
8 CS equals 1,500 gold.
It's gone for a straight-up more Malmortius. It's a lower damage build from Gangplank than we're used to. Definitely more tanky. So the barrel link chains are not going to be doing too much. As you say, there was a great demonstration of that on the screen, but also he's got a bit of survivability to try to fight in the face of a couple of Zoe paddle stars. Kingzone just want to drag this map very wide. They just want basically playing Gorilla in the shortest lane as possible, farming in the top side, Gangplank, scaling forever. They still have scaling. Scaling can be a dirty word. It can definitely be turned against a team, but it's what Kingzone have drafted for. They're looking for anyone.
Okay, that's just going to be the Impale in onto Peanut, looking for the hook. He'll get popped up at the call of the Forge God. Fate's Call. Let's get drawn out. They might just be throwing him in underneath the turret, but no, they won't be able to finish him off, even when the Ren stack's in there. Now Khan flashes forward, tries to get the barrel connection, but cannot find it.
Optimistic to flash in for a chain link barrel, as also Peanut can be. You can see on the reaction there, a little bit worked up by how this game is going. Khan flash to try to get the one-shot onto Ezreal, so onto Kalista, but does get Kalista's flash out of it. So is a trade like for like between the two carries.
Heavy all in there from BBQ, but still unable to finish off Peanut. Does make it out with his life this time. He's going to be down, however, as Khan goes ahead. Takes that trouble bubble and the paddle star leading up to it. He's going to be quite all right. Has the built-in cleanse. He's still sitting on a stopwatch. See just how many QSSs we end up with in this game. This Tempt just pops a extra flash that he had.
Still return to the side lane. Be comfortable. Old lead in the jungle. Not something you'd expect with Trick versus Peanut, but it is 1,800 gold in the first matchup of these two players since, I would say, MSI would be the last time that we saw SKT and G2 take battle. I remember watching them over in Brazil. That was back in the Trick Nunu days, and Trick really struggling, but showing a lot more aggression here. Being another one of our Skarners that have impressed us, and now he's the most turbo Skarner with Predator and the Righteous Glory.
Yeah. There is no escaping him. Even as an Ezreal with an Iceborne Gauntlet, he will be able to hound you down. This is when the Dazzle really needs to connect.
Seems like BDD is preferring to go for combat rather than a pure QSS. Does have Flash and also his E to try to get him away from the connection of the Skarner. But he's going for Banshee Veil to try to get him through some of these struggling times. Can pivot on the build, but that's what it's looking like. Does have his damage core ready to go. And the theoretical scaling is getting closer. It feels like we're 2 items for Khan and an item away from BDD from truly being online with the teamfight dream. And again, you look at the gold and say, for all their great work, for such a great start, for the rewards you want to give BBQ, the gold lead is not a true reward in this game.
It's 2,000 gold at 25 minutes, so
yep.
Not too significant. We do have that tower advantage even. So Kingzone equalizes the turret count, then the gold lead shrinks that much further. And the Ocean Drake isn't doing them that many favors at this point. So, bit of a muted objective there for BBQ.
And if we're at the point where Gangplank can farm away in the bot lane and Kingzone can just dip in, not have their AD carry denied from farm, and consistently get wards on Baron, they're very happy. You know, this is the pace of the game Kingzone want. Delay, delay, delay. The damage is starting to register on Crazy.
Yeah, you can see that. He's going to go ahead and invest the barrage here as Khan tries to finish him off. Have the barrel the chain together, and the third turret will be taken by BBQ in the meantime. Up in that top side of the map, but Khan is just threatening this Ornn now.
Notice that Ornn hasn't built purely for lane. He has gone into the Abyssal Mask to try to buff up the teamfight damage from largely the Zoe. So that's why not having as many laning items can be turned against you. No Frozen Heart. It's more of a teamfight initiator build from Crazy. And the reward is that Khan is actually doing surprisingly well in the trades earlier than expected.
Bit of a Spire take there. About it. However, Khan misses the chain. Try to get a little bit more damage in onto Crazy. Be able to force him back to base yet. BDD playing rather far forward here into the mid lane. Does have Gorilla waiting in the wings. He's safe for now. IgNar looking for the hook. I think gonna go wide here for BBQ as they try to get some control over the Baron.
So what do you do here as BBQ is the question you'd ask, because we know they're doing well. We've rewarded them on 25 minutes. Starting Baron is pretty risky. Trick is pretty tanky, but because Ornn can't be tanking it, you don't have the most tanks. The problem they have is they can't get a control ward on the brush closest to the Baron that we just saw IgNar try to hook into and push up vision. They need Ornn coming from behind. They need actual pick threat.
Speaking of coming from behind, it's going to be Peanut wrapping around in the back. of crazy this time around, and I don't think there's any way he really gets out of here. No flashes available, so he will just get taken down as Khan finally gets interactive here in the game, gets the first kill on the board for Kingzone.
But it feels like BBQ are back to that famous Ivern game where it took them, what, 13 minutes on the Baron to actually secure the objective. The way for you to actually force Baron here won't be through the bottom lane, because we know already that Ornn is losing trades to the Gangplank. It's about engineering a way to actually take the Baron as a 4. As Ghost is turning on to Khan. Does he win this, though?
A bit of damage down, but the Cannon Barrage not really set up well. He goes in underneath the turret, and he is still going to get the kill, even without the mana. Hook comes through, but he's going to use the stopwatch, but there's pretty much nowhere to go. Lantern gets thrown in. Mox comes down. He'll get flayed. That'll be the Maul Malmortius getting the proc off.
I'm not sure he loses this.
Looking to turn this one around. The hook comes in, drags him in underneath the turret, and Khan will get taken down. IgNar barely wins the extended fight. Khan feeling a bit bad about that one, but he gave it his all in the end. Damn close, but no cigar.
Khan may as well be Captain Jack Sparrow. You have to invest so much to kill the damn man that on the other side of the map, they get Baron control, which they've never had. He gets 2 kills for 1. A teleport is cancelled in comedic fashion. They trade up so big, and speaking of big, Khan's items are starting to roll in.
Khan is one of the best pirates that I've ever seen. Unfortunately, this is not the day that he gets away.
It just feels like rumors of his death are greatly exaggerated, because he gets low, and then with his mechanics and also the item build, the more Malmortius is working in overload. Only the turret is the true slayer of Khan. Oh, he's such a good player, but is it going to be enough to actually get a stranglehold on this game for Kingzone? It's still BBQ in control. It's still the delay, and now that the items are starting to roll in, the 5v5 team fights are getting closer for the side of Kingzone.
Now Trick, yet again, just trying to take the Spire, trying to take away some of these jungle camps. And BBQ start up the Baron. No vision in the pit right now here for Kingzone. We'll be pushing over, and they do have the Kalista for the Ren. Wards come down. Ulti comes out, doesn't get the lock up there onto Trick. They're going to have to try to go in for this one. The smite's been used. He tries to go in for the steal, but he can't get it. The Ren does take it away here for BBQ. And it seems like they're going to be able to exit safely. Call of the Forge God tossed out just in case. BBQ, they pull the trigger on the objective. They will get it, but we'll see how much Kingzone can punish, starting off with the tier 1 turret in mid.
It took them a long time to get it. They could have invested crazy into starting the Baron much earlier, because remember, we saw him losing trades. He could have backed away and run straight to Baron. They would have given up what? An outer bot lane turret. And if they were willing to trust in the Smite Ren combination, that could have happened 4 minutes ago. So it's later than they would have liked. It's after Khan was able to pick up a couple of kills. It's still on point, though. They still get the Baron. Now they have sheer map control, and a trouble bubble onto a carry might actually allow them to break the base, even on the first Baron.
Was looking a bit close. Thought maybe Peanut would be able to pull off the miracle steal, but the Kalista does trump the smite yet again. Wave now moving up. Minions empowered by Baron, as BBQ looks to take their first tier 2 turret of the game. Jumps forward, takes a little bit of damage, but overall will be fine here still with the Zoe. The wave clear from Kingzone is going to be strong with the Ezreal and this Gangplank.
Yeah, but making it a 5v5 is what they want. They know they can't 4-1 with the Gangplank as strong as he is, so trying to make it narrow. Crazy shows in mid lane, so Kingzone can even push up.
Oh, massive Paddle Star connects on the prey yet again. Not a one-shot this time.
Exactly,
around,
I feel like massive only counts if it is a one-shot. You expect the Paddle Stars to do a lot of damage, but the healing can come through from the tier Taric. Ezreal's going to get a back in as well. They need more if they're actually going to force Kingzone to back away from this turret.
You're becoming a bit too accepting of the damage on the Zoe if you don't think that's massive, but now the Impale's going to come through. They drag Peanut in, the box comes down, but the Cosmic Radiance is to up the rest of the damage. Ulti comes out from the Sejuani, but it gets denied by the Fate's Call immediately, and Gorilla has to peel back as he gets chunked down to half HP. Khan still fearlessly charging forward, but Tempt is still sieging from the sidelines, and BBQ will just have to go back to base.
There's so little threat from Ghost in this sort of a scenario, in a side lane 5v5 where it's not long enough for a Ren set to happen, that if the Zoe isn't doing the chunking, the damage isn't registering from BBQ. So they back away at least a couple of members to turn onto the Spire. Now BBQ seeing a recall, think they can push up. I know that BDD has other ideas.
We have to see the Surma shuffle, and there we go. That's the massive hit. As Tempt will just delete Prey yet again. He'll be damned. It doesn't matter. You still go down. And just like that, the turret folds as well. Kingzone pushed back in underneath the inhibitor.
Yeah, Kingzone were looking for an initiation. That's why BDD was to the side, but that meant it wasn't grouped. The Banshee Veil couldn't tank the Paddle Star. And goodbye, Prey. Rest in peace. 25 seconds till they respawn. How much more can BBQ get? Looks like the Impale's back up.
What comes through? Dazzle going to come down. Gorilla just trying to dissuade them. Trick goes forward. A lot of damage comes through on the Tempt, but of course there's going to be the redemption that comes down to heal them all right back up. This time it was actually going to be from IgNar.
Not a pirated one this time.
Not a pirated one. He didn't download this one.
You got to say, though, Zoe's copies are pretty good. It's not the VCDs of the old days.
Yeah, he's getting close to UHD quality.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know what side he's going to.
Pushing
Might
you
have
onto the
to
mid
give me
lane.
a link. Barrage is going to come down to try to deny the wave. We shot Barrage invested as well, and Gorilla is knocked down below half HP, so he's going to be sent back over to the fountain.
We take a breath. Still Kingzone's base. Base has not been broken. Mountain Drake will come in. The Infernal Drake scaling is going to start becoming relevant. We will finally see the Elder Dragon spawn later than expected. It's going to be about 39 minutes here. But the fact that their base hasn't been broken and the item builds are starting to finally crest upon go time for Kingzone's 5v5 teamfighting comp, there are still chances. And that gold lead, it's never coming.
It has
for the
not
side
grown.
of BBQ.
It is the same. It's just been stagnant, even with them picking up objectives.
Which means at 8%, and you know, it's equal basically here, and it's only going to get better for the side of Kingzone. That's the awkward part, is that Kingzone have been so good at picking up farms. 60 CS lead for the Gangplank, who comically is ahead 4,800 gold or so. In other roles, a lot closer, but not massively so. About 2,000 gold lead for the Kalista, as Prey has had a lot of woes this game. As KDA closing in on the top is not going to happen.
Yeah, it's been a rough time for him.
Prey and Gorilla, 0-5-0, and it's something that I've kind of thought about when we saw KT versus Kingzone, was that I think playing through bot lane and trying to punish Prey and Gorilla, who are a very good bot lane, you know, perhaps the best of all time, some will argue, but they largely play backseat. They largely play Ezreal Taric, Ezreal Alistar. You can take something like a Galio, try to play for lane with a Zyra Rakan, and try to actually attack a lane that Kingzone often just leave to its own device. It's famous that the jungler never goes bot lane for Kingzone. In this particular game, the jungler from BBQ went bot lane a lot, and they were actually able to get an advantage through Prey and Gorilla, who were looking for their standard non-interactive laning phase.
Yep. BBQ have solved the formula. They figured it out.
Gank bot. Hard to do when Prey and Gorilla are as good defensively as they are, but you throw in enough resources, a Skarner ultimate, and things are possible.
Yep. Prey now wrapping around the side. Not going to get hooked. Just charges straight up to the turret. Just to clear that out.
The voice stops there. The Trouble Bubble now represents death on everybody.
Well, you can see the Paddle Star coming through. Gets the hit there onto Prey, even at a fairly close range. Still knocks him down to about half HP. True Shot Barrage will be invested just to get rid of the minions.
Khan finally will take down this turret bot lane.
That's good. Third one for Kingzone.
Gold lead now 1,000.
1,000. I mean, Khan is just putting this very heavily on his back. He and BDD out of the mid lane with their pretty significant CS leads.
This patch we have the vision score, if you guys are wondering what the numbers are, around the sweepers and warding trinkets. 140 vision score, because Peanut's whole game has been clearing wards. The reason why he's so low on farm is that he's basically been on don't let them take Baron early in the game duty of just clearing wards around the red side. I'm sure the majority of that ward vision score is in this red side jungle where he's kind of been forced to play the entire game. Well, he got one jungle quadrant. Trick and the rest of BBQ had access to 3.
He's actually only taken one jungle camp. The rest of that is all just wards killed.
Damn, that's not actually true, but it's hilarious. It feels like it's effective in this particular game. For once, Kingzone able to get out of their base. For once, able to push up, get some vision. Baron has already respawned. They have vision control for now. QSS still only on Ezreal. There is going to be remove Scurvy on the Gangplank. A Banshee Veil potentially to plow through. I think they want Taric,
trying to push the go button, but the Dazzle will come through. He's going to get slowed up. He'll still
They
flash
want Taric.
in. He'll grab the Taric. Gorilla flashes away, tries to stay alive. Cosmic Radiance will come down, barely in time to keep him alive, as Kingzone try to retreat as a squad.
But they're out of the fight. This is the time to go for Baron if you're BBQ, but a lot of return damage might make them doubt it. Khan is so powerful. They get just enough damage to get away with this is Gorilla is going to be the Skarner target, because if they're not using the Cosmic Radiance the time they want to, they're not using it for initiation, they're only using it because Taric himself has gotten low. That's not going to really get any value out of the Taric, and thus the best target for now.
Dangerously close there. So much now down for Gorilla. No ultimate, no summoners. Kingzone have to push their way over to try to contest with this potential Baron take here by BBQ. They push in, they get rid of the vision, and another control ward comes down. TP going to be used here by Khan as he tries to arrive in time. Hook goes wide for
What's the
IgNar.
decision? Okay, BBQ will pull away. Compared to MVP, BBQ are traditionally a team to, under any threat, pull back.
I guess Tempt has a Blade of the Ruin King now.
Why not? Bit more pick power. Zoe does struggle with that particular mechanic, getting picks.
Now she's great at kiting. Kingzone going to push over, retake control around this Baron. He's starting to push their way in. Trick has that Impale ready to go. He's threatening it.
But on to who? Who is the real target here? Taric is so far in the back, doesn't want anything to do with the Skarner. For now, Righteous Glory is going to be wasted.
Get there on the Peanut. He'll dash away with the Trouble Bubble to keep himself safe. Get some vision down from the Scrying Plant as Crazy tries to clear out the mid wave.
That is a Sun Turret, you guys are wondering. It's going to be crashed down, so there's a fairly long lane there. There's a steal.
Away, Prey.
Took 38 minutes, but finally something for Prey to feel good about.
Denying away the blue buff. Doesn't matter. Still going to be very short cooldowns here for Tempt. Won't make too much of a difference, but at least he can stay in the fight with this Muramana for extended periods of time. Sure, he's maximizing his damage.
USS onto the Kalista, but Sejuani on the Rift. Peanut's accuracy is on point. There is always the chance for a turn. I think killing a support is a good idea. They're actually, with control wards, going to start the Baron. They do a lot of Baron damage, Kilios.
Down. It's already gone down to half HP. Trick looking to push his way in, but he gets locked up in the Sedge ultimate, and that is going to be the Baron going over to Kingzone. But can they make it out of here with their lives? Tempt jumps forward. A little bit of damage in. Cosmic Radiance comes down. They get the lockup in onto the Skarner. The shields come through, however, as he tries to stay alive, but BDD doesn't want him to get away with his life. Still will be able to walk out. BDD takes the plant over the wall, and seems like Kingzone will be able to exit safely. In the meantime, BBQ charging down, potentially looking for an Elder Dragon.
A veteran shot call there, very smart from the side of Kingzone. Second time we've seen Sejuani ult Trick stop him from getting into contested objective. First it was the Infernal, then it was the Baron. They'll probably have to give up the Elder. We look at the health bar. It's at 4,000. They got Rand. They should pick this one up.
Pushing their way around. Oh, True Shot Barrage almost has it, giving a heart attack right there, Prey. But the Rend does come through in the end. Would have been a massive botch by Ghost if he was handing that one over to them. Top tier 2 turret will go down to the Winions, and now Kingzone looking for another one here in mid.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, BBQ is out of position to consider how much time Kingzone was in control of vision around Baron. In 39, 40 minutes, they were in control for what? 2 minutes maximum when they pushed out after having to defend for the better part of 15 minutes. They take the Baron. They had spent most of the rest of their time getting the side lanes in the right position. Especially Khan spending a lot of time bot side. So when they finally get a buff, they're going to get the maximum. Their Baron buff power plays either end the game or really arrest big gold leads. There wasn't a big gold lead to talk about. Now Kingzone has it. So the map finally, when it comes to standing objectives, lead is to the side of Kingzone. They're scaling. It's ready to go. There's 6 items on the Gangplank. This is the part of the game that Kingzone hoped they wouldn't have to get to, but with BBQ's good early to mid game, now we're forced into a teamfight phase where it will take a pretty big outplay from BBQ to win a teamfight against Kingzone.
Now the tables have turned. BBQ here, losing that gold lead, now down by 2,000 themselves, so it doesn't really matter. The gold is becoming more and more irrelevant as time goes on, as we're past the 40-minute mark. But still, you can see that things have been slipping through their hands. Might just be a stalemate here, moving forward with the Baron and the Elder Dragon expiring in about a minute's time. So everybody might just go their separate ways, stay back until both buffs have disappeared.
Only Ornn item on the side of BBQ is going to be the improved Locket, because that means that the Locket that is on the Skarner and also Thresh's Locket do stack in the best way possible. You don't get diminishing returns because they're technically separate items. It will take longer for us to reach the 7-item phase, I guess you would call it, with the Ornn. Trick pops the Righteous Glory.
He's looking forward here, trying to get onto Prey. Arcane Shift over the wall, however, will take him just out of reach.
That's Mercurio's Scimitar as well, so I think that was just a bit of a damage harass. The side of the Skarner, and he would potentially flash onto Gorilla if he saw him.
I mean, if you can get the QSS down, it'd still be an all-right trade for the ultimate as long as he makes it out with his life.
Hey, trust me, he wants Gorilla at every moment. Gorilla is the gold standard target here when it comes to the ultimate, the suppression. Whatever Riot Support tells you, the cleanse does not work on any sort of suppression. So at this point, Gorilla going for the Locket to be a team player does not have the QSS. He's going to have to be pretty far down the back, so the Dazzle usually having 2 prongs, probably just going to be the 1 prong on whoever's initiating.
Now Kingzone posturing up here into the bottom lane. Turret already took a little bit of damage. Nice burst there coming through onto IgNar and Tempt as they get whittled down. Peanut dashes forward, just trying to threaten BBQ back, corral them into the base. And it has worked out perfectly. Hook goes wide, IgNar not even connecting to the minions, but a massive paddle star.
Meanwhile,
Praying Gorilla potentially out of the fight. Cosmic Radiance will come down. Peanut in the front line takes down to about half of his HP. Hook goes wide yet again. IgNar suddenly just failing at landing these. Otherwise would have been turning the fight in favor of BBQ, but can't get the connection, and Kingzone will just peel back.
Yeah, 5v5 so much harder for the Thresh to deal with. The impact usually falls away at the laning phase or the end of laning phase where he can roam around. Kingzone put down the Sun turret, back away. Pings from the side of BBQ, try to get Baron control again, but a long time. But that objective will spawn. Still so much tension. Still the fact that Kingzone have 2 kills, and the only person involved with them was largely Khan and 1 assist from Peanut.
Such a bloodless game.
What was the highest farm number for someone who went 0-0-0? Because right now we have BDD at 522 creeps.
That's a really obscure stat you're trying to pull up now.
I know. But it's been a season of obscure stats, Kilios. We've had 94 minutes, we've had CS leads. This is where we live, and we got rid of most of the stopwatches, and yet this is still the game we live in.
Well, if somebody figures that one out, feel free to tweet it at us. We'd love to know. Khan is quite far forward. You can see the barrel doesn't do a whole lot of damage there to Crazy. Call the Forge God will come down, and
Optimistic.
I don't think he even tried. I think he knew already that it was a bit too late for that, so he just threw it forward.
Cool down a bit longer, but still pretty low for how big impact an ult like Ornn's has.
It's already 25% of the way done.
And we're already only a minute 30 to Baron. We'll see what happens around the Baron this time. The assertive Baron taken by Kingzone, we didn't get a replay, but them, once again, just using Sejuani to ult the enemy smite and trust in Peanut. So far has worked a treat.
I feel when you're a
Kingzone.
Skarner and you should also build a QSS.
I mean, everyone here has at least half a reason to build one. I guess arguably not the Gangplank with his W, but everybody else could consider it for different reasons. Item slots are not the friend there. No 7 items, no 8 items. Right, have many different ways to address the ultra late game problem, but we'll stay at 6 items. We'll get a Super Elder in the future, but not on patch 8.3 here. Probably going to be another 2 weeks till we see 8.4, so who knows? Maybe we're loading up for the 60-minute plus a few times, Kilios.
Tempt just trying to siege down Peanut in advance of this Baron respawning. Can force the Sejuani back to base.
Khan
For
has
a very safe take here for BBQ.
Khan has played with his items again. Essence Reaver now included, going for a higher damage build. No Zeal item, but the Burst is certainly online and still has the Maw to respect the one-shot from the Zoe. See if any other modifications in build will come through. Don't expect there to be boots sold by a Kalista. Doesn't happen very often. With how movement speed scales into her passive. We don't have the mass QSSs, so the Skarner impact, which sometimes in the ultra late game is low, is now higher. They're going to go around Baron. It spawns now.
Troll Ward's thrown down.
They're just going to rush it down. They have a lot of Secure. What does Kingzone make of this?
We'll start this up. Peanut, again, maybe looking for the Miracle Seal, but no, it's going to be BBQ backing away, and the Baron will start regenerating. Tempt still trying to siege up, trying to chunk out the members of Kingzone. They go straight back over to it, and they are melting this down. True Shot Barrage barely going to scratch the surface of BBQ's health bars. Peanut trying to go forward. Baron down to 2,000. The getting ready to come through. Will go ahead and confirm that one for BBQ. Barrage separating them. Hook going to go wide, and we're going to have a pause right after the action as both teams start going their separate ways.
Seems to be in the BBQ booth. We'll have to wait for Joel for confirmation. Such a tense moment in the game. I guess thankfully there was no initiation CCU, so we weren't mid-team fight, but certainly on the precipice of one. We need to get confirmation as to what happened there.
Dangerously close.
We'll talk about the game state when we get the updates. That's the most important thing to relay to you guys. All the players here taking a deep breath. It was a well thought out Baron in the end by BBQ. Sejuani got into the pit, but the Rend was always going to be comfortably over the 1,000 damage of the Smite. So it did come through on Killer. We're getting the confirmation here. There's a client error, so maybe a restart required here for Trick. He wasn't moving just at the end of that clip, so I thought maybe something was amiss with his computer, and that is confirmation there, so fingers crossed.
Okay, client did crash, so at least fortunately he's not being jumped on at the moment, so don't think his life is exactly under threat here for the moment.
But also he's the furthest back as the tank initiator, which isn't ideal either, so the bug splat coming through is unfortunate. This game in general was opted into by Kingzone. They took 3 mid lane bans and were happy to let the Zoe go against no real recognized ability to collapse on the Zoe. They also didn't draft for the strongest 2v2 when it came to mid lane jungle to actually try to punish the Zoe. It was pretty even between the two teams. The Zoe's done a lot of work this game, even if it hasn't got too many super one-shots. Still has been a lot of pressure exerted by Tempt, one of the best players on the side of BBQ.
Basically gotten two one-shots so far, both on Prey this game. You know, while BDD is just kind of sitting back, stabbing people with his spears. Hasn't gotten to a position to do a Shurima Shuffle yet.
He's not putting down sun turrets next to his Nexus, so we haven't seen the full impact of the Azir yet.
That's true. This still could go to 90 minutes. God, what a world.
What a world.
That would be Kingzone breaking the new longest game record.
I mean, they had the longest game of the first blood at 39 minutes, so
that is true.
Maybe this is the new Kingzone. Maybe what we expected in their first 7 series is actually just a ruse.
It's like better IgNar from 2016.
Definitely hasn't been as much exuberance from the Kingzone players, recognizing that the early game did not go the way they expected. They probably thought they could stabilize at 25 minutes and not kind of the 35, 40-minute mark that it actually happened to be.
I mean, think about, we were talking about, you know, the Nidalee potential pick there for Peanut. If we had had that come through instead of the Sejuani, would have certainly shifted the entire pace of this game.
I agree. The problem I think they saw with the Nidalee was if Nidalee fell behind and they picked Gangplank Azir in the matchups they did, then they could have just lost purely from drafts. So I think they said, all right, we need scaling. But then they gave away Zoe and didn't have a plan to attack Zoe and then went scaling. And the enemy team made a lot of great plays, specifically around bot lane. Trick has made so many bot lane plays, and it actually did profit them this game. Prey and Gorilla so far behind. 0-5-0 as a duo at this point in the game. We can't show you the scoreboard right now, but trust us, 0-5-0. 3 deaths onto Prey, I believe, and 2 onto Gorilla. So hopefully we can load in. There doesn't need to be any chrono breaks or anything like that. Fingers crossed.
Had plenty of chrono breaking them yesterday.
That's true.
First mid lane Echo since the summer final of last year.
The most living dangerously Echo game we've seen in a while, down to sub 100 health multiple times in the game.
Yeah.
But Lava made it work. As
3 or 4 times that he almost died.
Lava somehow has kind of become the spirit of the mid lane when he's like, okay, I'm going to play these new champs, going to bring out Galio. He was the first AP Galio we had. Now he's bringing out the mid lane Echo out of meta.
The previous spirit, not the yesterday spirit.
That's true. I mean, still the same guy, but definitely a Freak of Freaks feeling a bit of pain.
Things have been changing a bit there for Afrika, it would seem. We'll see how long it takes them to get back onto the horse, but for now they've fallen off, it would seem. But seems like we might have an extended issue here with Trick's client. So hopefully we can get that squared away and get the game back underway.
And see if the streak stays alive. Game score streak of 14-0 since their 2-0 loss against KSV first time out. Khan still undefeated on the Rift this season because he was, of course, banned because of his competitive ruling in the first series against KSV. Has not played all the games since. Rascal got a second look in, but
first MVP.
Has largely played. Finally, some smiles first from Peanut and now BDD about where the game is at. It's still not lost. Baron buff this late in the game doesn't have as much value until the buffs come through. If you guys saw the patch notes today on patch 8.4, the changes that Baron buff previously scaled in terms of AP and AD from 20 minutes to 27.5 minutes. Now it actually scales all the way up to 40 minutes. So around where we're at the game, it would have a much more measurable increase in power to the two teams. That's not live here, neither is the change in Elder Dragon. So Baron buff, while important in the late game, it creates this paradigm where I've always been a big fan of post, say, 40 minutes. If you have the option of, say, flashing in for the smite steal and 100% dying or just giving away the Baron, I usually think an extra person post 40 minutes has been more useful, and I think the numbers being lower agrees with that. But with the buff coming onto the Baron, maybe things change, because certainly second Elder is going to be the strongest thing ever based on the patch notes. So
Yeah.
I think that's where everyone starts flashing and hoping for the best.
It seems like we have a lot of really powerful stuff coming out. I'm sure a lot of people saw the video of the banner of command cannon minions after the Baron buff changes, and they just absolutely annihilate every turret.
I feel like we've changed Mobius
that won't
almost.
make it to live.
I feel the League of Legends adage has always been kind of nerf things into line, whereas this new release where you're releasing in the middle of a season so many new AP items that impact different champions differently and basically changing the paradigm of Dragon and Baron does feel like let's just buff everything and see what happens.
Yep.
So much power on the Rift.
Turn it up to 11.
Well,
Seems
League of
like we are
Legends
good to
turned
go.
up to 11, and okay, no one died is the reward of all this, so we're backing off. The objective was picked up. Kingzone can't rush in and get a turret because the inner turrets have already been taken. So we take a deep breath, reassess. This is the game state. 47 minutes in, second Baron to BBQ.
Yep. 0-3-0. 0-2-0, as you did say. Turret Prey and Gorilla not been having the cleanest of games out of the bot lane. BBQ, though, have the Baron above ready to go. We'll be charging down around the mid lane here for the moment. Going to move that wave up, try to knock down some of these turrets.
Chain Link Barrel onto the Zoe. Going to be a lot of damage, but Banshee Veil answers some of that. Gangplank is a burst build, not a consistent damage build, because no attack speed has been itemized into it, apart from the Stinger that builds into Trinity Force. Probably just going to take the easiest objective on the Rift, which is this inner turret, but even then, with AD wave clear from Khan, it's going to take a little while.
Probably going to be shorted. Waiting in the wings. He needs to jump into the fight. Tempt's going to try to keep this alive with a free TP that he picked up.
They're not going in with it, though. They're not actually going to use it to go for any autos. Kalista being 550 range means that you're not going to want to take any risks there. And if you can waste time on the Baron on what should be a freebie objective in an inner turret at 48 minutes.
God, massive burst there. Yep. Onto IgNar, 1,118 damage. The Impale comes down. Cosmic Radiance has been cast already, and Peanut will stay alive. Lands the ultimate in onto Ghost, but no follow-up really available. Prey jumps forward briefly to get a little bit of damage in, but can't follow up for too much else, and seems like BBQ might just win this war of attrition as they wait for the next wave to try to finish off this turret.
We don't have the Baron buff duration here. Oh, one shot.
And there you go.
Not from full health, of course, but still, a kill comes in. This will guarantee this turret. It was looking like Kingzone was going to be the big winners because they were able to delay the Baron for so long, but they finally get the turret, and now 5v4, they want to break the base.
Redemption comes down. They're just trying to keep IgNar in the fight. You can see Khan is just trying to focus down this Thresh. Can't push forward now. We'll just have to surrender this turret and the inhibitor. Things now getting a bit more dire for Kingzone. BBQ will go ahead and peel back. It's the wide use of their Baron buff right there on that push. They'll have a little bit longer to at least get their fast recalls off.
2 Barons, 3 if you include Kingzone's.
Wait, that was Tempt's real flash.
Yeah. No counterfeits here. We're going to see the replay. Watching Tempt onto Gorilla. I mean, that was a lot of trust there. Yeah. That was FLICKR-esque in extending the range.
Very
Tempt
nicely
is a
done.
player we've been building up when it comes to players in the LCK that a lot of global fans don't know about. That was clean onto the Taric. They finally break the base in the 3rd Baron buff in the game. 2nd for BBQ. Baron buff still for a little bit, so they're going to push through mid. We don't have the exact timer because of the bug splat.
It'd be nice if we could have a different color to the flash, I guess, when it's not a real one. Differentiate. But Elder Dragon has spawned. Ren stacks building up here from Ghost. He's got plenty of attack speed, and Khan takes a massive burst of damage. He'll heal up very slightly as the sleep goes in onto Prey, and they're going to just have to surrender this. Elder Dragon with 3 stacks over to BBQ. Trick speeding up, looking for a pick. BDD going to dash away here. Throws down the turret, but it's immediately going to get popped, and now BBQ are looking to knock down this final inner turret.
Baron has fallen, but like you say, this Elder Dragon's gonna be on for a while, just zoning them away.
Forge God comes through, not gonna find the pop-ups, but it does zone them back. King Zone on the back foot, gonna be fighting inside their base for the remainder of this game, it would seem. Unless they can turn around a fight.
Minion wave in bot is heavily pushed out, so that will cause BBQ to back away. BBQ keep doing the right thing. They keep making smart moves. They have been right up there with Kingzone. They've been a true dance partner. This has not been Kingzone leading the way and then making a mistake. This has been BBQ leading the way.
Hello. Goodbye. Massive hit comes through. Gorilla just going to burn the cleanse to get out of the sleep. Doesn't want to run the risk of getting taken out. Tempt is a monster. Excited to see, or maybe disgusted, the damage charts at the end of this game.
And if you're joining us late and did not see pick and ban, they banned Blitzcrank against IgNar instead of Zoe after all 3 bans from BBQ said, hey, we're going to first pick Zoe and you don't have an answer. So this is Kingzone opting into it. To me, it was a bit of a flexing move saying, whatever tools you have, we're Kingzone DragonX, of course.
Still waiting for a moment here from BDD. He's just been silently playing around in the back lines. Hasn't had any kill contributions. We just had the 2 coming
This is
through.
Definitely the record, by the way, 609 CS 000.
Yeah, he's definitely got the most for somebody who doesn't have a single kill.
A new stat has been broken, guys. Yep. Most CS without a single kill or kill involvement.
Forge God comes through yet again. Crazy just trying to push them away. Tempt goes forward, gets the trouble bubble in. Will be cleansed off by the orange. Drick gonna get locked up, but no damage really going forward onto him. Tempt, however, does get knocked down to about half HP. Barrage thrown down, but the Redemption gonna undo a bit of that as he gets popped back up above half.
But this does delay Elder Dragon pushes. That's what you have to always remember, is that when they go even, 20 seconds left on the Elder, they're gonna break the base in the second spot. Kingzone backing away.
Yeah, there's gonna be super creeps pushing in onto the Nexus. They're gonna have to go ahead and start dealing with this. Prey trying to fire away, but just not doing enough damage to dissuade BBQ, so second inhibitor taken. Mid lane wave already set. BBQ could just go and try to get the third one here.
So many difficulties for Kingzone to play front to back as their comp is designed to play. Low QSSs means it's hard for them to actually push in damage. Trick still has the Impale available, but the one shot always there. He not being so graceful on the Sejuani, but not enough to actually cause any threat. BBQ just reload with 2 inhibitors down and look for the third.
BDD trying to clear out the waves here. Baron getting ready to spawn in 25 seconds now. BBQ could just apply this pressure and then peel back and take that very swiftly. If they so choose, and seems like that might just be the play as they start entering the jungle. And there's just really no way of stealing this one away.
8% of fans chose BBQ for the match, and it's only a single game here in a best of 3. But BBQ is so close, and in the game win streak, then he's another ult trying to zone them away again.
Forge God yet again does get the Banshee's Veil off of BDD. Go for the follow-up, they get the lockdown. Dazzle comes in, now looking for Trick, he's gonna flash away. Cosmic Radiance comes in, connects in onto Peanut and Gorilla.
They don't have that much.
Finish him off.
They don't have Chase. Azir wants people coming to him. Ezreal is not the highest late game damage dealer. They cannot chase. They only have Sejuani ult for initiation. They need the Baron and to force BBQ to come to them. Speaking of Barons, 4th of the game has started.
Oh, that's gonna be the blast cone. Peanut has to use the charge to get on the other side of the wall. Fate's Call will drag IgNar out of there. And any chance of a steal is now gone. Prey still sticking around, throws out the Mystic Shot, but cannot get it. The Rend taken away from BBQ yet again. 3.5 minutes on the clock with 2 inhibs, 1 inhib down actually as the top lane has respawned.
The comical thing is that with the game in the 8.3 state, BBQ will have to come to Kingzone to end the game, and it's 6 items siege turret Gangplank with a static shiv completed instead of boots. Even with everything we've talked about, even though your first thought is surely BBQ can close it out, with what we've seen, we've survived those wars. We were there for them, Achilles. We know that ending this game, even with all these stacking buffs, is not going to be a piece of cake.
Yeah. If they can pop BDD at the start, then it becomes way more likely. But he's been playing oh so safely, as you can see.
Let's break some records. Why not? Come on.
Screw it.
How do you feel about 97 minutes?
I could be tempted.
So the potential 5 more games after this. A lot of hard yakka here in the LCK for you Aussie fans out there. All right, BBQ. you could just, as you say, subvert all those expectations, have a one-shot come through, and then maybe it doesn't matter how strongly Azir is around the base. Peanut and the threat of the ult so low. Finally coming into this third inhibitor turret again.
Right. Ooh, gets a lot of damage in onto Tempt. Throws out the True Shot Barrage. Just barely misses the Zoe. King Zone, reinvigorated, will go ahead and force BBQ out of the base.
And they do have 80 wave clear, as I mentioned earlier, through the Gangplank, who has close to 60 to 100% crit here, so is able to actually take out these bound up minions like Azir will struggle to do with any speed. Another zoning Ornn ultimate.
Oh, the Forge God hook comes in. They're going to be dragging him out,
dead.
and that's going to be Khan going down. Great target there by Trick. Just no way for him to get away, and that is going to be another inhibitor going down here into the mid lane. King Zone trying to hold off. Bot still trying to respawn. Top going to be taken yet again.
I believe Khan had used his oranges for sustain, as far as I can tell. We'll have to get the replay to confirm. Wasn't able to get out. Maybe you're looking for another pick to guaranteed end the game, but they should be able to do it here, Achilles. It is 5v4 with Baron.
IgNar missing that hook, or missing that flay, but finds the hook there onto Prey. He'll cleanse that one off immediately. Impale
almost
about
available.
to be back up, and yeah, it's going to be one Nexus turret getting taken down. Bates call comes through, trying to keep them alive. Redemption falling in on top of the Cosmic Radiance does keep King Zone in the fight for a little bit longer, but Gorilla's still going to go down. Now Peanut dashes away, has to go back to the fountain, and it's going to be Prey going down. Seems like BBQ have finally done it. BDD trying to fire away, trying to get a kill, finally puts himself on the board with a kill onto the Thresh, but that's it. They are done. The streak is over, and BBQ, after the long break, after suffering an 0-2 loss to MVP, come out in game one and take down King Zone DragonX.
And a reward for a smart draft and a great game plan where they shut down the bot lane of King Zone. So often a position of power for King Zone. They ganked it relentlessly. Peanut is never there. They were able to take it down, and it ends up being a big victory for BBQ.
Absolutely insane from BBQ. Have to be reeling after that victory, but it was a long road for them to close this out. It wasn't simple. King Zone gave them a run for their money. Can they do it again?
And King Zone still have this big match against FLICKR in a couple of days, just 2 days on Saturday, and they've made a couple of mistakes here. Playing around bot side, they left themselves open to be abused by the Skarner, opting into the Zoe with no clear answer, and also opting into sheer scaling against BBQ, but credit to BBQ for beating the strongest opposition we have in Korea, playing their own game, and welcome back Trick, double MVP of the EULCS in 2016. His game on Skarner was great, and the big reason they took such a massive lead in the early game.
Yeah, beautifully done by him. Great way to return and reaffirm yourself as the starting jungler here for BBQ Olivers. We considered it a bit of an impossible task, but they pull it off here in game number one. Closing out the series would be doubly as impressive here for BBQ if they could pull it off, but already they have shown that the gods can in fact bleed. But can they put that final nail in the coffin at King Zone is going to be the question.
Things are so close, so tense here, much more tense than we could have thought. First versus eighth. It doesn't feel like it with a game like that.
Now maybe we'll actually have a starting King Zone series where we don't have an hour-plus long break. Game number two, we'll see how the draft is going to change. Skarner and Zoe, something tells me, won't be making it through this time for BBQ. We're going to find out when we come back from the break, so don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't think you want to miss the rest of this series. Game one has already proved that for you, so we'll be back in just a few.
You took off your mask, now it's like you are some other guy. There's no castle to defend, no dragon left to slay. All the king's horses, all the king's men, they'll never put us back together again. 'Cause we've gone too far and we can't go back. Even fairy tales have to end. All the king's horses. King.